Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We are so thankful that you guys are here. We're excited to have you here at the first Aurora Alien Encounter. I'm going to turn it over to Dan, and he's going to talk with you about some things we have going on in the city, and he's also going to share with you about a few things going on today. My name's Amanda Smith. I've been helping promote the event. If you have any questions, I'm happy to talk to you or at least attempt to answer them. Hold on just a sec. Here's Dan.
Miss Amanda was just a little bit, ahead of herself there, because she's going to do most of the planning discussion. I just agreed to walk up here because she's kind of scared to walk up here, I think. However, we do want to welcome all of you. We hope you enjoy the day. Talk a little bit about some of the future events that we have going this fall. We have the haunted house. I think that'll be coming up before too long. We also are in the process of working on restoring the old town, historic town as it was, and we've gotten some photos from other places and pictures of the old buildings, and as much as possible we're going to restore it back to its natural site. That's a big project, and it's going to be a lengthy one. However, if any of you got a lot of money in your pocket, you'd like to...
We would love to take it from you.
We'll be glad to, consider you as one of the investors for this little project. But anyway, with that, I will give it back to Amanda. She is the most informed of the bunch of us.
Thank you, Dan. So just to let you guys know, a little housekeeping rules. We have trash cans located around the facility. Please use them. We would love that. Also, please pay a visit to our vendors. They've all paid to come in and be here for you guys, and they've helped promote and finance this event. So we want to show them our appreciation, whether you buy from them or not. Just please tell them thank you. That's appropriate. Also, we have a silent auction going on next to the I will stand still. Next to the Ned photo booth, we have a silent auction going on. It's going on right now. So when you guys get finished listening to the speakers, or if you're ever walking back out to the lobby to the restroom, stop by and put in a bid on those events. All of the money that we're raising from this, the proceeds from this event, are going to the Historical Preservation Society or Commission, which I'm also part of. And like Dan said, we're working to preserve the history of Aurora, and that includes the alien encounter. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Jim Mars. He's one of our keynote speakers. I know a lot of you have come here to see him. I've had the pleasure of having many, many meetings with him and having dinner with him and all those things, and he's a wealth of knowledge, as you well know. Everybody, please welcome Jim Mars.
Thank you, Amanda. Howdy. Oh, come on, you're all from Texas. Howdy! There you go, let's go. Welcome to wonderful, sunny, wait a minute. Welcome to wonderful Aurora. As you can see, it's not exactly a big place, but it's got a big place in history. Because most of you probably have at least a passing interest in UFOs. And I know I've been at this for a good many years. In fact, I've had the privilege of meeting some of the real pioneers in ufology, like J. Allen Hynek and Dr. Edward Teller, father of the H-bomb, several astronauts, including Dr. Edgar Mitchell, who unfortunately just recently passed away, and just on and on. I myself, as far as I know, have never had a encounter with an alien or UFO. I've seen some weird lights in the sky, but I'm not going to try to convince anybody what that might be. But in my 50 years as a journalist, I've come into too many contacts with pilots, both commercial and military, police officers, air traffic controllers, military officers, and when they all tell you about these stories, which most of you have heard, there gets to be a point where you say, wait a minute, all these people are not crazy and all these people are not lying. In fact, if you all remember, some of you older folks, back in the 50s and 60s, we were told basically that there was no such thing as a UFO. It was just a hallucination, or perhaps mass psychosis. Well, I always loved that one because as a young reporter, I'm going, oh, wow, heretofore contagious, mass psychosis. What a story, but you never hear that anymore. Why? Because the advent of the camcorder, cell phone, telephone. Today, you can go up on the internet, type in images of UFOs, and you could spend the next, year, I suppose, looking at everything's there. Obviously, you cannot take a photograph of a psychosis or of a hallucination. So the question about are they here, are they real, that's moot. Of course they are. There they are. So now the question becomes, and I hate to plug for my UFO book, but what is the alien agenda? Who are they and what do they want? Well, we're still working on that. But it all started, or I think it started, in fact, I think the Aurora crash is the smoking gun of UFOs, because prior to that, and even till today, there are people who would try to tell you, well, it's just secret government test craft, or it's just misidentified aircraft. Well, I always thought, wouldn't it be nice if there was really a well-documented instance that happened before we had anything in the air? And this is it. 1897, this is 6 years before the Wright brothers flew. Nothing man-made in the air. And yet, we have all these reports that came in from all over Texas. I have, come on. I have some of these at my table. I only got a limited number, but y'all are welcome to grab one. This is the front page of the Dallas Morning News for April the 19th, 1897. And the main headline up here is talking about the Great Aerial Wanderer. And what they're talking about, of course, is the airship mystery of 1896-97, which started in California, moved north, moved east, almost to Chicago. Towards the end of that year, it was coming down through the Midwest, and into March and April, it was seen in Texas. And then there was a crash reported in Aurora, Texas. After that, no more stories about the airship. It's really kind of incredible. Now, I think someone has tracked and found a couple of stories in the Houston newspaper that seem to have been published a few days or a week or so after Aurora, but this doesn't mean the thing was still flying. It just means it was 1897 and transportation was slow, and they're just now picking up the stories. This whole paper is really fascinating because there are even articles where they actually met and talked to the occupants of this airship. And it seems like every time that they met somebody, they had a different story. One of them says, oh, we came from a secret laboratory in New York, and we were testing out this air machine, and it worked so well, we just decided we'd cruise on through the rest of the country. Another one says, we're from a secret society in the North Pole. Don't tell anybody about us. Another one said, and this one's really especially interesting to me, that in the Fort Worth microfilms of the newspaper, there was a story about a track inspector who said he came across this large cigar-shaped object with a crew, and the captain told him, hey, stay away from the machine, stay back over here. And he says, and please don't tell anybody you saw us. We're on a secret mission. We're going to go bomb Havana. Now, this to me is especially interesting because the Spanish-American War did not start for another year. Did not start until 1898 when our battleship Maine blew up in Havana Harbor. We blamed it on the Cubans and the Spaniards who controlled Cuba at that time. And that's what put us into the Spanish-American War. And of course, that was Admiral Dewey, damn the torpedoes as he goes into the Philippines, and Teddy Roosevelt charging up San Juan Hill. But my question is, how did these folks know that we would be at war with Cuba and Spain a year before it happened? I think this may give us some hint that they have time traveling capability. If that's the case, we really got some stuff to talk about. One reason I'm hurrying through here is that, number one, all the pictures have already started. I have a DVD that I put together on the whole story of Aurora, and I think you'll find it quite interesting, and pretty well tells everything that I could tell you right here. Oops. Except there's a couple of little things. I love the story from Granbury, Texas that was a day or two before the crash, because I think it explains a question that I've been asked many times. Well, if there's aliens out there and they're visiting us here, why don't they just land and say, hey, you know, or what's the Vulcan thing, you know, we come in peace, you know. I think this kind of story from Granbury kind of answers it. It says, Newt Grisham last night at 9:30 o'clock, while drilling the Riddle rifles, discovered that mysterious flying Jenny of which we've heard so much. Newt is a very warsome young man, being a populist, but he could not stand the sight of the air machine, so he ordered the company to open fire on it, which it did, and soon the whole town was aroused. What is it, Joe Bob? I don't know, shoot at it. There you go. Now I think we see that, of course, another explanation would be that it was just a meteor or a meteorite landed. Well, here's a story from Wortham in Freestone County. It says, Captain John A. Lilly, a prominent and reliable citizen of this place, a Mexican war veteran. You gotta trust those veterans, you know. States he saw the mysterious airship last night at 9:30. He said it was going straight up. That kind of leaves out a meteor, doesn't it? I know of no meteor that goes straight up. So anyway, this is really fascinating. It's documented, and all I'm going to do is give you the bottom line, and then you can watch the film. I apologize for making a brief visit here this morning, but like an idiot, I had forgotten that I had committed myself to be in Philadelphia this afternoon, so I'm going to have to run fast. But I think y'all are going to have a great time here in Aurora. This is, and welcome to the first annual Aurora Alien Encounter. I would also like to just thank all the people that has been involved in this, Daniel Jones and Dr. Tony Wheeler and Dan McIntyre. Dan, who you just heard from with the preservation here in Aurora, has really done duty here. He had a little tangle with his horse and ended up in the hospital for a while, and so we're glad that he's back and going. But I want to thank everybody that had part of this, and you've got some great speakers lined up. You got, of course, Travis Walton, you got Tui Snyder, you got Nick Redford, and Noe Torres, and Andrew, another wonderful speaker. So thank you all very much, and right now I'm going to turn it over to what's happening now. We're going to show the film. Okay, and now the problem here is that oh no, we're not eating yet, right? Just start. Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I want to tell you, Aurora is the smoking gun of UFOs. I thank and appreciate everybody's here today. And now we're going to go with the film. I guess. Okay. Thank y'all.